Okay, let's just take a quick look at the printables here. This is mostly going to be folio pieces and stuff like that, so it'll look a little funky on the paper, but it's good to know what you're getting. Okay, so we've got this tall, this is a trifold one here, okay, and these are all the pockets for it. I've grouped everything in the printables together, so these 3 pages all go to this first printable, okay, and then you'll get the next one, and then the pages after that will all be for this one here. Although ephemera pages, you can definitely mix and match your ephemera however you want. These are just sized to fit this particular batch, you know, this particular folio. Okay, now that is also a trifolio. This one is a quad folio, so there's 4 panels to this one, and that's going to adhere together with a pocket right here. So we're going to put all this together though, so you'll see it put together. Okay, and then these are the pockets for the quad folio. And then there is 1 extra page of just like fussy cuts and small tags just to have stuff to put in all of the pockets. And we can continue to fill this up as well. It doesn't all need to be filled up today, but there is a bunch of ephemera in this kit, so you should have plenty to get you started. All right, so we're going to jump into assembly. Okay, to make things easier, when you print this stuff out and cut it out, I would keep it in like little bundles. So that this is my extra ephemera right here. So it's the last page I showed you. And then I just bundled all my little pieces together so that it would be easier to assemble them. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one here, which is the 4-paneled one. So it's the quad folio. And this one has 1 extra assembly step. All the other 2, all you have to do is add the pockets once you cut it out. Okay. So we're going to start with that assembly here. And what I did was I printed graph paper on the back of mine. Even though it's not very festive, I thought it would be fun because this is like a file folder situation here. So I just thought it'd be cute to do, oops, that's my thing there. I just thought it'd be cute to do graph paper on the back of the file folder one. And then I figured I could decorate over it, you know, so that it would not seem quite as plain. But I don't mind having plain stuff in the background of these types of projects, only because they have so much, you know, there's already so much going on, and I know I'm going to be covering a lot of these spaces with ephemera, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, I'm just going to get my glue set here. Okay, so for this one, all you are going to do is line these guys up like this, okay? And I'm going to put glue around the edges of this here. I should have put a little inking on this side so you can see when I'm gluing where we're going here. Okay, so we're going to glue just right around the edges here, and then right down that middle line, and then that way our folio will attach seamlessly to each other. There won't be any tabs or anything weird hanging out. So, all right, so there goes that, and then I'm just going to add this on here. Okay, now I'm just going to add this on right here. Okay, so I'm just going to put this right up to the edge here on the back. But I just want to make sure I didn't go over so that everything still folds. Okay. My craft room is so cold tonight, but that the glass mat is cold. It felt like actually wet for a second there. And this is intentionally on the printable, so just FYI on that. Okay. All right, so now we have this assembled. Okay, and this can be folded up however you want to fold it up. You know, if you want to fold it up like this, so this like tab comes up and over it like that, or you could fold it in like this, you know, and have it be like a pocket on the outside, and then have these flaps open up on the inside, which I actually think is pretty cute. Okay, let's take a look here at our pocket placement for this folio here. So There are 2 of these, so I thought these would be really cute if they were mirroring each other, you know, like this. And then there's the belly band, and also this one large pocket, and then you have 3 smaller pockets. Now, there's an extra one of these because you could mix these pockets up however you want, and I wanted you to have enough to do a double pocket here if you wanted a double pocket right there, okay? I'm going to do the belly band right there because I like my little office theme situation that I've got going here. And then I'm going to put 2 pockets on the outside here. So I'm going to glue my inside ones first. But please feel free to do this in any configuration that, you know, that you would want to do. Okay? So whatever, or if you want to, you know, you could obviously make more than one of these too, and you could make them in all different configurations. And you're only going to get more ephemera as the, you know, project progresses. So you would definitely be getting enough to do, you know, multiples of these with all different ephemera. Okay, so there's that one there, and then I'm going to do this one here on the end. One of the other reasons I chose to use graph paper for the back of this is because this makes really great scraps. So graph paper is always something that you can use in almost any journal. So I thought any like leftover like pieces of paper or whatever I had, they had graph paper on the back. It would make them nice and flexible in terms of what other projects I could use them for. I'm fairly certain that I will be able to use a lot of this. I'll be using most of this in this journal, but you know, it never hurts to have some graph paper, you know, in the wings. And this is a good way to get it, you know, without having to like specifically print out graph paper or print out or buy it, you know. You just would have it from scraps. Because a lot of times it's one of my most favorite layering components. Okay, there's that. And then also, this type of a project would be fairly easy to replicate on your own if you wanted to. Like, you could create this out of a background page, you know, and you could just make your own little pockets. I mean, these are basically the notched pockets on here, you know, you could easily punch out from a scrap or a rectangle, and with your little with the either a 2-inch or a 1-inch punch, just depending on what you have, or a 1.5 inch. Okay, so let's get that one on there. So this would be pretty easy to replicate because these shapes are all very easy to recreate. The only thing that might be challenging is this tab, which you don't even need, so you could just have it be straight. Okay, so there's that one. So I'm going to flip this over like this, okay? And then I'm going to add on these pockets here. I think that I might just give this just a little tiny trim because I think it's like going over a little bit into that. Which I don't really want it to do. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to take like a smidgen off of this on either side. Whoops. I could use this on either side, actually. Okay, let's take a smidge off this side. Let's see how that looks. I just don't want it to run into the tab. That's pretty even. You could also put the belly band here, or make a different belly band if you wanted, just out of a piece of paper. Okay, so let's do this here. Alright, I'm just going to set that down right there for a second. That guy on there. And then we'll put this one here. Oh, you know what? I did not get that on very straight. Okay, is that better? I think I'm going to use this one because I forgot these two match. Get that little extra glue off there. Make sure that's lined up. Okay, so now that the gluing is done here, we can do some of our ephemera pieces. There are, actually, you know what? I think this might look good under this one here. Oh, this guy go in here. I was thinking about punching the top edge of this just to give it like kind of a decorative edge on it. Oops. I'm knocking stuff over here right and left. There we go. Put that up there. Chop the top of that with this. Here. I think it's a good match for the top of this here. It made a little bit of a weird edge, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. I'll just trim it off on the weird spot. Right there. You know what I'm thinking? I could put this pocket on the front of this. So maybe I'll do that now. Like I'll just try to, like, I was just going to add some ephemera real quick, but I will, and I will do it really quickly, so that we can get onto the assembly, because I didn't want to have, like, huge gaps between each folio here. Okay, so there's that one. Just add a little bit of glue to this, and that way we have, like, a double pocket right there. Okay, I cut it a little bit smaller just so that it was more of a feature. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's supposed to be there. And then I have this cute little candle that can go in that pocket for right now. And then, let's see what else we could do here. I did think maybe a Christmas tree in this one. I'm not sure if this one will fit. It sure does. All right, so look at that. All right, let me just fold this up really quick, because sometimes, you know, with these smaller folios, it's extremely easy to get them, like, pretty stuffed pretty full. I really want to find a place for this. And I want to find I need to find a piece of ephemera to stick in here. So I'm going to put that aside for just a second. I'm going to hold all of this stuff over here. We're going to start our next one. And then there's a lot of cards in this one. So I'm thinking one of these cards will, you know, can go over in with that one. And there's bookmarks in this one too. So I just put the ephemera in wherever I could fit it on the paper, you know, so some of the sheets have more ephemera than the others. Okay, so for this one, we're just putting two pockets on the inside of it, and so you kind of have to decide what you want on your outside. I printed this tree pattern on the back of mine in hopes that it would work out, and it did. It worked out really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for my outside because the tree is right there. And then I will put my pockets just right here on the inside. Okay, so for this one, we have these kind of pockets right here. So right here, this is kind of like a pseudo envelope folio here. I guess maybe it's a wallet folio if it's not got envelope flaps. Okay, so this is here. And then I'm just going to pop this right here in between the two sides here. The key here is not to get it too close to either side so that everything will, you know, open and shut smoothly. All right, and here's this one. And this one's going to go over here. This one's going to be a super quick assembly here. The other two, this one and the other one, they don't have as much stuff going on as the first one we did. Because I wanted to make sure that I was doing some examples of things that are easy and fairly quick to do. Like, this is not a big deal. You know, it was pretty quick to assemble it. And, you know, now you, like, once we put ephemera in here, we already have a cute little a little like ephemera piece to put into our journal that's not a tag. You know, it's something a little bit extra that you can open up and you can look at. And, you know, if you wanted to, you could put something inside of it, like a little note or something like that. So, all right. And then also, let's see here. So this one has tons of cards. Particularly this one here, which is this is like a little folding card. So you can decorate on the inside of this. You could make a little tiny belly band to go inside of this with the scraps. I could do that. You know what I think I might do is use some of my music pages to make a little belly band that will go inside this little book here, and then that will hold ephemera here. And then when I mentioned the graph paper before, like, you could easily put a little bit of graph paper, a little bit of lined paper in here, and then you would have space for writing inside of this. So that's where that graph paper or those lined papers can come in super handy. And you could use anything, like any lined paper, any graph paper. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so let's put it on this side. This paper was so fragile, it just like literally fell apart when I bent it. Here, so we can just put this on here. I'm just going to ink the crease here. I like how the brown looks with like the, you know, pastel colors. Okay, so I got that going on here. Okay, so now what do I want to put underneath this is my question. I could do a little tag. That's not very big. Ooh. So I can fit that right under there, so that could be a tag right there. I'm going to put this aside for a second here. Just want to see what I printed on the back of that. And then if you had a piece of the graph paper or the lined paper that you could put on here, that would work really great. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when if you print like a graph paper or lined paper on the back of your ephemera pieces, you'll end up with scraps that are useful because they have graph or lined paper on it. This is from another project that we did, and I had printed lined paper on the back of it. So I'm just going to take this here and I'm going to cut it down to fit and put it in here just to make like a little writing space for my little book here, okay? So all I'm going to do is tear it down and hopefully get it approximately the right size here. I'm just going to fold it over on the edge here. And then I'm going to cut it, I'm going to do it like a little bit short of where I folded it because I want it to be smaller. All right, now I just got to make it a little bit smaller lengthwise as well. Thank goodness, here's my ruler. That was a little bit sketchy with the, okay, let's see here. And then you could just cut the corners off of that too if you wanted to, just to make it mirror the other ones here. I'm gonna guess. Okay, and then we can just put a little ink around the outside of this guy if we wanted to, and then I can just glue it down. And no one will be any the wiser that this had, you know, like a pink floral pattern on the back of it. Oops, I want to make sure I got this. I'm going to do that way. I get that a little bit crooked. So I feel like this is the definition of like using your scraps, you know? Like I've seen a lot of complicated videos out there cooking up ways to use them, but what you want to do is make them usable so you can easily integrate them into what you're doing, you know, pretty much no matter what it is. So it doesn't have to be like a special project that's just to utilize your scraps, you know what I mean? It's just everyday crafting, you know? It's like, I'm just going to put extra glue on there. A glue stick would have probably been a better choice for that job. So now we have our cute little book here, and you know, like what I would probably do is tie a ribbon around this guy, just to dress it up a little bit more, so that it doesn't. It gives it a little bit extra, you know, oomph for your finished product. You know, if you just put those little tiny extra touches in there. This is my uncooperative ribbon. So we're going to see what happens when I use it. It doesn't love to be tied for some reason, which seems crazy to me because, you know, it's ribbon, but... Oh, you know what would be even cuter? Okay, I'm totally gonna, I don't have any right now, but I'm gonna order some little snowflake charms so that we can put them on stuff in this project. Okay, so that's coming. I'll come up with that, you know, in the next couple of days. I'm gonna order it from Amazon. Hopefully they'll be able to get it here pretty quick. But yeah, so you can put your little book in there with one of your bookmarks. Let's do a bookmark for this here. And then I like to, you know, do a little pocket layering here for, you know, different stuff. I love this one here. This candle one is so pretty. Okay, a little something stuck under there. Okay, so let's put this candle one in here. I just don't want to go down there. Usually these pockets are better because they have a little bit of extra space down there. There it goes. Okay, something was just jammed down there. And then we have these bigger cards as well. I wonder if that's too tall. And then what's cute, what would be cute probably is adding a little, like something extra on the outside of this pocket. And I'm going to add that with a paper clip. Okay, this third try finding the right size. But yeah, okay, so I like to have like a little paper clip action or something like that. And then if you wanted to, you could decorate, like you could put other, I thought this is cute, and I thought we could punch a hole in this and put it on something, so that's why I included that one there. And then if you do include like other textures or papers in your folio, you could also include them in other places so that it kind of ties it all together. This does not want to rip. I thought I could just rip it. So it just ties it all together. So, you know, you hang on to these pieces and then we can just work them into other places. Okay, so, oh, and then the final thing that I want to do for this here is create a closure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use one of these small flowers right here. And you can use any small thing. If you wanted to, you could punch a circle out of any of your scraps or background papers that you happen to have on your desk. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to glue half of it down and leave half of it loose, okay? So that this can be popped in and out under that, okay? All right, so let's put the glue on this half of it. And you just want to make sure when you're doing this that you don't get any of the glue on the little tip there. That's why I really like these pointed folios, because it's super easy to make these little glued on closures, and then you don't have to fuss around with ribbon or string for those. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let this guy dry before I stick this back underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. But since I have extra ephemera here right on my desk, I think I might go ahead and see if I can include this piece. Oh, or one of these, huh? Will this fit? Oh, it will. Oh, that's a good color match. And then what might also be cute is if we just made like a little tag out of some of this extra music paper. Like the minute you have like this extra stuff on your desk, you'll be surprised at like how quickly you're going to start to use it all. Where did I put that ruler? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of use this one as my guide. I want it to be smaller. So, let's see. And you could do this with anything. If you had a piece of background paper kind of left over, just hanging out on your desk, you could also use that. Whatever paper that you had just had laying around from this project will be fine. Right, and now we have this little music one, and we can stick that in here with this. And if we wanted to dress that up or make that match this a little bit more, you could add a piece of one of these pieces of ephemera on here. And if you did not want to do the corner chomping, you could just add one of these little tabs that's in the kit to the top of it, and you kind of get instant tag situation there. Okay, so let's put this aside for a second. Oh, wait. Oh, let me see. Before I do that, sorry, I did want to see if I had... I wanted like something on the front of this, you know what I mean? Just a little something. Oh, and I didn't put anything in these pockets either. This will definitely look good in here. I'm gonna have all my music paper just completely gone here. I just like to have something behind it, you know, just so that it doesn't look quite so lonely. Okay, there's that. All right, I'm gonna leave that like that for right now. Do you like how I immediately got distracted and went to do something else? Okay, so let's do that. And I'm dying to use this. I embossed this waxed, it's like waxed brown paper the other day, but I just haven't found the right place for it yet. I don't think I've found the right place for it yet either. We're gonna make ourselves a little like homemade cluster here. There's a piece of lace right here too. All right, there we go. Now we have a little something to put on the front of that. And I basically just used stuff that I found on my desk. So please feel free to add whatever, you know, whatever's like around you can easily be incorporated into this, you know. Okay, so I'm going to glue this to this. This is a little bit sketchy, but I think it'll work. This is pretty thick lace. So now I'm going to go ahead and just glue on the back of this. And then we'll just have to set this aside for a few minutes while we do our last folio. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. All this for the back of my folio too, right? Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that one aside to dry there along with our other one, and then we're going to hop on to this one here, which is our kind of tall, narrow one. Okay, so let's get all the pieces of that out there. Okay, so we've got all of these here, and then let's take a quick look at what we've got for pockets. So we've got these two small ones. We got a series, like a triple series of pockets as well here. And then we have these pockets here. Okay, now this one goes right on top of this right here. Okay. So we'll have this one here. And then, oh wait, I have to decide which. Ooh, this looks prettier than, oh, I'd have to use it upside down though. Okay, let us do this here. Okay, so this one goes here, and this one goes here, and the other ones are kind of, well, for the other, you can put these here, okay? And then I'm just going to close this up, and then you also have corner pockets to use. Okay, so I'm going to close this up right here, just like temporarily. And then if you wanted to add on your corner pockets, you could. And this one would go here. I'm trying to decide if I want to have a pocket on this flap though. Okay, let's glue these other ones in while I'm thinking. And then I'll decide about what I want to do about my other ones here. Okay, so let's get this one first to start with. Okay, and then I'll do this one. I'm going to glue this one like this. I think you could glue it however you want. I want my pocket to go this way. I think you could glue it either way. I'm just going to make sure that, because I think it would be cool to have the pocket be right here. All right, and then let's do our little mini triplicate here in the middle. There we go. And now we have all our little pockets on there in the middle. And I'm going to flip this over. And for sure, I'm going to put a pocket here. Would it be like fun to put like a top tuck here? The only problem is that I don't find these to be terribly useful. It's just probably, it could just be me. Because I see them all the time. I just don't find them. Like, I find it that whenever I make one of those, everything falls out. So, either I'm not making my pockets be full enough, or I'm making my pockets too loose. Okay. All right, now we have pockets galore here. Okay, this is going to be our last pocket for this folio and for this video, and then all we have left is what do we want to do with the ephemera that we have. And whatever you don't put in here, just you can set aside or put it in a pocket in your journal from yesterday, and we can use that for something else. Let's fold this to see if it all folds together. That's cute. Okay, so let's take a look at here, what we got here. I feel like it'd be nice to have like something like this, like right here on the front. When I was making this, I was thinking it would look good on the inside. Okay, let's see. So basically these pockets here are for these tinier pieces of ephemera. You want to go with your tiniest pieces in the top so they don't stick out too much. And then you can go with a couple of bigger pieces on the lower spots. So that, oh, you know what? I have this piece. I forgot about this. That would look good there. Okay, and then, okay, so I could do this one here. And let's see what else we want to put in here. There's some snowflakes too. Candle. Okay, and then here's this one here. I'm gonna have to make something tall to go in that pocket there. I'm still looking for a place to put my little flag here. We may not be in this. We may have to wait and put that in the journal here. I do have a bunch of snowflakes too. Okay, so what I think would be really cute for this is to do like a little closure for this. I think my tree can go in here. I think it can. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I have that there, and then I think what would be cute for this is to do like a little ribbon closure. Let me just grab a piece of ribbon really quick. Okay, so I think this is what I don't know, does that work? I get distracted extremely easy here. I'm wondering if I tear this. The problem, I made it, it's so fragile because it's like thin paper to start with, and then I embossed it. It's probably not even going to go in the pocket because it's so thin. If I want to use this, I'm definitely going to have to put something on the back of it since it's pink on the back. But for this 1 second, nobody has to know that it's pink on the back, right? I'm going to glue that on the top of this. And then I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper and I will put that on the back of here. That needs a second to dry here. Okay, now back to my other idea with the ribbon. What I thought would be really cute is if I could punch a hole in this here and then have it like dangling off of the ribbon. So wait, let's see. I need a pokey tool to do that, and then because this is going to be a nightmare to edit. A nightmare. I'm just going to use my little pokey tool. So put a hole in here. And now that I think I'm going to end up having to use thread. Just because it's going to be really hard to get that ribbon through this hole. So I'm just going to use the same thread that I used to bind my journal, and then I'm just going to that. And then I can probably thread that through this a lot easier. It would be even cuter. I'm definitely going to get one of those snowflake charms, and then I will, I'll probably add that to this, just so that it has like a really cute little something on it, you know? All right, I'm going to just tie this ribbon around here. Let's see. All right, and then if I can pull this, I'm going to pull this through here. Hopefully this is going to work. Tie myself a little bow. That's way too big. There we go. And I think that should stay. Okay. Let's cut that. Not bad for, I don't know, how long is it, an hour's work maybe here? You know, we have a few more things that we can save for our next project here. And use those as embellishments and other stuff if you would like. I only have a few things left. I don't have very much left, and I'm 100% sure I could work these things in if I put my mind to it, but I think I will just save them for the next project. All right, let's take a quick look at what we did today here. So we've got our kind of long, narrow folio here. We have our smaller file folder situation here with our belly band here. And then we have our little envelope folio here with this little book inside of it. And I'm going to get a little snowflake to tie on that. And then we're just going to tuck our little flap under there, and our little poinsettia should just hold that together. Looks good. We could put something on the front here too. I'll have to think about that. But it is a good idea when you're putting these things into your journal, which we could do right now actually, is having the smooth back is really helpful for just getting things to stay where they're supposed to stay and then not catching on anything. You know what I mean? So that just fit perfectly into there. Let's see what else we got here. I'm looking for... I have some of these are paper clipped in because I hadn't made my final, you know, decision, so to speak, on those. So I haven't put those in yet. But we could put our little guy here. You go behind this one here. Or it could go in a pocket. I have another pocket here. I was thinking this one might be a good candidate for a pocket too. Because it's so nice and long and narrow, you know. And we could put something else in there as well with that, just to give it, you know, I like to give it a sense of fullness. So, you know, obviously this is a work in progress though, so. But I think not too bad, for this. This could also go in a pocket. Let's try this one out here as well. That one also looks good there. I don't want to put this narrow one behind here so much. You know what? Ooh, that one might... Where did I put it? Okay. That could easily fit into here too. It's not as exciting because you can't see it. But, you know, I think that's definitely an option there. You know what? Let's put the tall, narrow one into one of these pockets. Okay, and then we'll go back and put this one in here for right now. All right, so I think that brings us to a close for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this and you have fun making your folios, and I can't wait to see them. And I will see you tomorrow for our next installment here of our journal. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me.